Well, hey folks, this is Fat Guy Flies RC. How y'all doing? All right, Hobby King and my string of blessings from the good Lord and Hobby King has sent me out the DURAFLY T-28 and the Bicentennial Edition T-28 Trojan. Let's unbox and put this bad boy together. Now, a confession, I have already opened it up just to see, make sure everything was okay inside. Of course, it was packed beautifully. Now let me fight with the box here like a grown man. Come on. Oh, goodness gracious. Goodness gracious. I went flying this afternoon, didn't film much, and got planes everywhere now, so everything's in the way. All right. Actually, sometimes fly just for me. Believe it or not, it does happen. All right, everything is packed in there, ain't gonna come out. Now, if you want to use all the features of this plane, you're going to need at least 7 channels because of the dive brake that's included. So it would be nice if Spectrum had a reasonably priced 7-channel receiver, but they do not. They go with 6-channel. Actually, their receivers are getting so expensive now that they're almost pricing themselves out of the market. And that's just my opinion, of course. That's why I'm starting to rely a little more heavily on the Limit RX, which still have not gone up in price, and are just as reliable and just as good. May not have as easy a setup as the forward programming, but they are a solid, good solid receiver. All right, take a look at this wing here. You got the gear, everything's clearly labeled what it is. Anytime you have a black and white wire like that, that just is a power. So it's going to be like a light wire. It just requires power. I'll take that little piece of tape off there. Okay, and that is your air brake, that's why you need that 7th channel. You need the normal 6 channels and the 7th channel to operate that air brake. Very nice, well done wing. Okay. You'll have to install your control surfaces or control arms, that's no big deal. Make sure you work these hinges. Okay. Now these are just pinch hinges. There is laminate, I can see down there, reinforced. But then again, this is not a super fast high-end plane. It does have the features of a high-end plane. Oh, nice laminate in there. Yeah, there's laminate down there in that hinge. Yeah, I love the color, very bright color. Shouldn't be any problem with the orientation at all. Okay. Little bags of bits and bobs. Some FPV stuff if you want to put it in the canopy. This has got to be my elevators. And it is. Nice individually wrapped. Plenty of packing material. Everything's well protected. Okay. Time to change my blade. It's getting dull. It's getting dull, man. It's getting very dull. I'll tell you what. Let me get everything out of the box and we'll be right back. All right. As you can see, there's not much to the build. It's everything you see. You've got one little baggie for flaps, ailerons. This is obviously your wing bolts, You got all your rudder hardware and your elevator hardware. And also in your rudder elevator hardware, there's two small 8mm screws, and that's what hold on both of your elevator halves. There is no spar. It's internal in your elevator, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay. You got your propeller, wing nut. Now this just keys. If you front, notice it has a hex head. There's a hex on the front of the propeller shaft, so that just goes right on there, and then your nut backs right up on there, so you don't have to worry about it. It won't be any slippage there. Nice fuselage, very, very well appointed, very good looking fuselage, and has a typical tongue and groove type way it installs. And there it's got a nice strong rare earth magnet. Everything is labeled for you to use. You got your ESC tucked up out of the way. There is structure. If you look in the front of that motor, if you're trying to put your battery all the way, there is some plastic structure around the back of that motor, so you don't have to worry about that getting in the way of your battery. Plenty of room for a battery. Probably a 2200 4S is what we're going to be flying with this. But everything is labeled. I think it's a 40 amp ESC, if I remember right. 45 amp ESC. XT60 connector, which is pretty much standard these days. All right, shouldn't be any problem putting it together. Everything's labeled. All your wires are provided for you. We'll need a 7-channel, at least 7 channels, if you want to operate everything as it's intended. Now you could provide yourself another Y and do your flaps along with your air brake. You could wire them together if you wish, and then get away with a 6-channel receiver. I'm going to be using a 7-channel though, Lemon RX stabilized receiver. That way it only has wind mitigation, but it does not have self-leveling. All right. Be right back. We'll start putting this together. I'm going to change your camera view and where you're going to be looking down at what we're doing. So stay tuned. Okay, now share a little bit about the plane. 1100mm wingspan. It's got a length of 930 millimeters. With the recommended battery, it's going to have 1460 grams. Has an Aerostar 35, 36 with 750 kV brushless outrunner, 45 amp ESC, 10x6 three-bladed propeller, and requires a 2200 4S LiPo with a 30 to 65 C. Alrighty, let's get to putting this bad boy together. Alright, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to work on our tail feather section. Okay. Remember I told you in the elevator bag you have these two small screws, 8mm screws. You're going to want to get those out first, and let's go ahead and get those out. To get those identified and get them out. I love these little magnetic trays. Will make your life so much easier. All right, need your Phillips head screwdriver. All right, go ahead and get them identified. Doesn't appear that you're going to get anything extra in the way of screws. All right, let me get my FPV Builds plane stand out here. Thank you, FPV Builds. Okay. All right. Now, this is going to be connected on the bottom side. So, this is your rudder connection here. Okay. And on this side is your elevator. Because you can see there's your elevator servo. Okay. So, you're going to want this to be on the underside. So, like that. because you see that's where it connects. We'll just slide that in there like that. And this should key in over there. There's a little bit of burring on this plastic structure, and you see these little holes. There's little holes right there. Okay, that's where your screws are going to line up with. This is a part of have a one-man show here. Has a definite bottoming out point. Now I can start to see that hole line up there. Okay. Again, it's your little, looks like a little wood screw. Okay. That's why I love magnetic everything. There. That is in there, and that's not coming off. All right. Now, what I'm going to do, we're going to hook up, we're going to install the rudder control arm, and then I'm going to go ahead off camera and hook up this one and all the ones on the wings and the flap, and we'll be right back. But let's take care of this one so you can see the process clearly. Okay. You want to grab your rudder hardware. All right, let me grab another little metal tray. Well, marked label, marked rudder. And this, pretty simple. You've got these 4 very long screws because they got to fit through this entire, see it, how thick that is? Got to fit through the entire rudder. You see how thick that is? All right, now, and you're going to want to put the hole towards the control arm. Okay, so that's going to fit. It fits there just like that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead, push that through there. Push that through that hole. And I'm going to take another one and push it through this rear hole, the opposite corner. Okay, with my nail. Okay, and what I'm looking for is this to be poking out the other side. And see, you can see right there the screws are starting to come through, and these little backing plates are threaded. So those threaded screws will screw right into these little black backing plates and sandwiching the whole thing together. All right, so that's what I'm going to do for all the control surfaces. We'll be right back. I'm going to do that off camera, and we'll come back and I'll show you what they all look like when we get right back. Okay, we're back. Now, as you can see, what I did was I pushed all 4 screws through the control arm. Okay. Then they came out the other end. I put that backing plate, and then I screwed each screw through that backing plate, and I put a little dab of glue in there just to hold everything in place. Same thing here. I reversed 1 screw on that one. And then everything came through in that backing plate, and then like I said, there's the screw that I reversed. I just did it because I wanted to. And I put a little dab of glue on all those receiving points, and that way that not going to come off. All right, now the exact same process was done on all of these. Ran the screws through the control arm, okay, through the control arm, and then on the opposite side, I screwed them through the backing plate, and I put a dab of glue in between that sandwich that's now been made. Okay, now I don't like this design because you've got these screws that are hanging out, but that's the way a lot of these models, the older models, are. Okay, and those backing plates are on there. Okay, these control arms are now on there. Okay, they're not going to come off. Okay, so that turns our attention to the wing. Okay, where I got our tail feathers. Let's go ahead and pull our fuselage over here. Okay, take the hood, take the canopy off, turn your fuselage on over. Okay, you see that big hole there? Okay, you've got a hole back here, you got a big hole here. These front wires, big bundle, are going to go through the front big hole, and this back little air brake wire is going to go through that back hole back there. So go ahead and get those fish through. Start with that back hole first, with that air brake first. That sits down in that saddle. Just like that. And go ahead and hold it together. And let's check the other side. You see, there's that air brake screw, or that air brake wire. And see, it's actually a lot longer. It was doubled up. So now I pulled that through. There that is. There's all them big bundles of wire there. Okay. Turn this back over. Put it back in my cradle here. All right, you're going to take your 4 long screws, which actually comes with, there's an actual Allen head wrench in there. These are all of equal length, though. Okay. Okay. Now, it's only those 4 places here. There. 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 Okay. Okay. Let's get a little bit better of a screwdriver. It's got a little more oomph to it. All right, like you often have to do, I just had to keep taking the screws out and putting them back in and get them lined up. There's a little bit of metal shavings that was down in this one, so I actually had to take everything out, clean it out, took a real fine, thin tool and made sure the screws were out, or there wasn't any metal shavings in there, blew them out with my breath and got them out of there now and reattached the wings. So now we're back to where we were. Okay, now you notice you've got, okay, you got one Y that's labeled. Let's see if you can see it there. Labeled LED. Okay, so you're going to want to identify all your Ys. Okay, it should be. Sorry if I got my head in your face. Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. Got one there. Okay. And that should be to operate both the wingtips. Okay. And then you got wingtip lights, and then you got an LED on top. And I think you may have an LED on the bottom side. I'm not sure. Yes, you do. Okay, so, and I can see back down in there that it's got a Y controlling both those. So you're going to have 2 LEDs. Okay, so you're going to grab your LED Y. Okay, now the dark side is your negative. Okay. So take your LED signal wire, which is back here. You see it's got black and red, and you're going to hook up. It's just going to go to one side, okay, to where it's going to look like that. You got, oh, there's blacks on top there, okay. Then you're going to take your other LED, which is coming out of the wing, which is wide for both of these. Okay. It's going to look like that. You're going to have the brown here and the black here. In other words, your dark is always going to hook up to dark. Now that there will hook into an open port on your receiver. We'll probably have to wide in like with your rudder or something. All right, now here is gear. Okay, but you've got a nose gear up here. All right, and the one's labeled gear. You're going to hook it up to this Y that's supplied. It's labeled gear. Okay. Remember, polarity is always light to light, dark to dark, no matter who makes it. Light to light, dark to dark. Okay. You're going to grab the gear. It's coming out. It's right here. Okay. Light to light, dark to dark. Okay, now that is a single signal that controls your gear. Okay, got one for aileron. Okay, and then now we got one for rudder. So you're going to get this last Y. Okay, it's labeled rudder. Okay, and this one, because this is a reverse servo, it's a different color, but still the same. Still, because it's going to be reversed of the rudder servo. Still the same rule, light to light, dark to dark. Okay, that's always a polarity. Light to light, so in this case, white to yellow. Okay, there. Grab this single rudder. Where is it? This elevator. Okay, there it is. Okay, it's right here. It's this back one right here. And this is your rudder here. Light to light, dark to dark. All right, put that together. Now we've got our, this of course is throttle. Okay, flaps. Okay, so now I'm going to take my Lemon RX Gen 2, and I'm going to hook everything up, and that will then we'll do the radio. We'll go over in the after the maiden. All right, this is just like a Spectrum. Channel 1 is throttle. Okay. Okay. This is now I need ailerons, which should be this one right here that we haven't messed with. Just like with Spectrum and most receivers, the light side goes to the top of the receiver, the type that has the wording. Okay, now I'm looking for my elevator, which should be this single elevator right here. Okay. Okay, now I'm looking for my rudder, which will be this assembly back here. It's labeled rudder. The light side is going to go towards the top, or channel 4 there. Okay, now I want my gear, which would be this assembly here, labeled gear. And now I'm going to want my flap, okay, which is labeled flap. That's going to go on channel 6. Now this right there completes the normal setup. Everything's hooked up. The only thing left to hook up are LEDs and my air brake. Okay, so what I'm going to do, and that's channel 7 on this receiver, I'm going to Y my LEDs and my air brake together to be controlled by channel 7. But that I have to get a Y force supply up myself, which I don't have. Oh, just happen to have one right here. Okay, cool. I'm going to go ahead and put the Y in channel 7, which is my auxiliary 2, actually. Okay, then I'm going to plug the air brake in to this one. Same thing, doesn't matter who makes the servo. Light to light, dark to dark. And the lights are going to be the same, light to light, dark to dark. Okay. Now, everything is plugged in. Okay, I don't have much room for that elevator lead. So that's going to dictate that I'm going to have to mount my receiver right there. Okay, and that's fine and dandy. I'll put an antenna this way and then put an antenna going towards the rear. And that will put them at 90 degrees. Okay. And that's how I will end up mounting that. Okay. More than likely I'll take this, well, my ESC is kind of in the way. Okay, so we're going to have to somehow get that secured to one side. Put our batteries up front, and I'll have that servo. Anyways, I'll get all that buttoned up and zip tied down and make it all nice and purty. Okay, so now we can back that up. Go ahead and grab the battery hatch. Okay, well, you know what? Let's do one thing real quick. I know I'm going to be using Velcro to secure my battery. I like using the hard on the inside the fuse. Okay, so I'll lay that down there like that. That way I got a place for my battery. Go ahead and be nice if they included a pilot in this. And if you wanted to, what you would do, if you wanted to add one, you would just pull that away and just pull that away all the way around. Place your pilot, glue him in, and then take a contact cement like Chinese glue, and then just reattach that. Okay, so put that back down there like that. All right, now you're going to take your prop. You see it's got a key there. It's going to fit one way. It only fits one way. And then just screw this on. You're going to just hand tight that. Make sure it's all the way on there. It does have a little bit of play there in it. You'll feel it. You shouldn't hear anything. Heard that little rock a while ago. Now I don't hear anything. Make sure it's good and tight. There you go. All right. Hold on just a second. All righty. Well, that is the basic assembly of the DURAFLY T-28 1100mm Corsair. And we'll be right back in just a second. We'll get her all bound up, get her battery in her, and we'll go over all the features where they're all lit up and purty. I get the servos all centered and all that good stuff. Okay, we'll be right back. All righty. Well, let me show you a little bit about the plane. And I unfortunately will not be able to use the air brake. And the reason for that is with the 7-channel stabilized receiver, it is going to be aux 7, which is that 7th channel. I'd forgotten about that. And the way the two are tied together, when I put the air brake back up, it turns the gyro off. Well, that's the way I want to fly. And when I turn put the air brake up, it turns put the air brake up. Now the gyro's off. With the air brake down, the gyro's on. So I need the gyro on all the time. And with the way that I've got the 7-channel Limit RX, I would much rather have the option to be able to turn my gyro on or off if need be. So for that reason, it's more important for me to have the function of turning my gyro on and off and not having my air brake. Okay, just the way it is. If I had an 8-channel receiver, then I could put on a separate channel and operate it specifically. But an 8-channel receiver is $150 for Spectrum and $50 some odd for Limit RX, and I just don't have one. So instead, I'll just stick with the $33 Limit RX 7-channel and use my wind gyro stabilizer. Okay, CG on the plane is 50 to 60 millimeters back from the leading edge, which puts it right there. Okay. The gear go up and down, nice and pretty. And she's a good looking plane. She got a light there, got a light underneath there, and then got the nav lights on either side of the wings. Now, real quick, The prop is perfectly balanced, however, the ESC is not calibrated. So let me show you the calibration process real quick. Let me go ahead and take this prop off. Because I'm in the man cave. I'm inside. Take the prop off, which is very simple to do. I got throttle cut here. And see, if you notice, I got a little bit of throw before that throttle kicks in. All right, so what you do is with your throttle on, unplug your ESC, put your throttle all the way at the top. Now listen for 2 beeps. Then drop it all the way down. Now when I give it throttle, it should give me immediate response. And it does. Alrighty, well there you go. I'm put my throttle cut back on. Oh, now I gotta take my throttle cut, which is simple enough to do. Just go to throttle cut. Drop that position down. There you go. All right. I'd forgotten about that. Well, there you go. Let me show you the functions real quick. Got the flaps. We'll go over rates and everything after the maiden, but my flaps are set on a 2-second deployment. All right. And the retracts are pretty darn quick. Just keep your fingers out of the way. Well, there you go. Good looking plane. Hopefully get a real quick maiden soon. And there you go. Hobby King, once again, thank you for sending out the plane for a review. God bless y'all. Don't forget, faith, family, and friends, God is good. And that is the T-28 from DURAFLY in the bicentennial livery. So let's, real quick, go ahead and put that prop back on so you can see it. Okay. As easy as the prop goes on and off, there's no excuse for you to have it on in here. Make sure that gap is all the way down and tighten it all the way down with your hand. That's all that's needed. All right, folks, well, there you go. This is Fat Guy Flies RC. That's the DURAFLY T-28 1100mm sent to me by Hobby King for a review. Thank you, Hobby King. Beautiful plane. Can't wait to get a maiden. Y'all have a good one. God bless y'all. Don't forget, faith, family, and friends, God is good. And DURAFLY T-28s. Bye-bye.